In the dim light of a cluttered study, where the air is thick with the scent of old books and the faint hum of a flickering bulb, a figure leans forward, eyes gleaming with a mix of fervor and disbelief. The world outside is oblivious, wrapped in the mundane, but here, in this sanctuary of conspiracy, the truth waits to be unveiled. Imagine, if you will, a narrative woven through centuries, a tale that begins in the shadows of history, where whispers of power and control echo through the ages. It's a story that dances on the fringes of reality, where the line between fact and fiction blurs and the unthinkable becomes possible. The British royal family, revered and reviled, has long been the subject of intrigue. But what if I told you that beneath the polished veneer of crowns and ceremonies lies a secret so profound, so shocking, it could unravel the very fabric of our understanding? The myth of the lizard people, those cold-blooded shapeshifters said to inhabit the highest echelons of power, is not merely a fanciful tale spun by the deranged. No, it is a reflection of our deepest fears, our yearning to comprehend the incomprehensible. It speaks to the age-old struggle between the rulers and the ruled, the elite and the masses. The idea that our leaders might not be what they seem, that they could be something otherworldly, taps into a primal instinct to question authority, to seek the truth behind the facade. Let's take a step back, shall we? The origins of this myth can be traced to the annals of history, where ancient civilizations revered serpents as symbols of wisdom and power. The Egyptians, with their gods adorned with snake-like features, understood the duality of the serpent, a creature of both creation and destruction. Fast forward to the modern era, and we find ourselves in a world rife with distrust. The royal family, with their lineage steeped in mystery, becomes the perfect canvas for our collective imagination. In the 20th century, the seeds of this myth began to sprout. David Icke, a name that sends shivers down the spines of skeptics and ignites the passion of believers, emerged as a prominent figure in this narrative. He painted a picture of a hidden elite, a cabal of lizard-like beings manipulating global events from the shadows. His theories, while often dismissed as the ramblings of a madman, resonate with those who feel powerless in a world governed by unseen forces. The notion that the royal family could be part of this reptilian conspiracy is both absurd and tantalizing, a delicious morsel for the imagination. But let's not dismiss it too quickly. The allure of the lizard people myth lies in its ability to encapsulate our fears about the loss of autonomy. In a world where decisions are made behind closed doors, where the rich and powerful seem to operate on a different plane, the idea that our leaders might be something other than human becomes a way to externalize our frustrations. It's easier to believe in lizard overlords than to confront the uncomfortable truth that our own complacency has allowed the status quo to persist. As we delve deeper into this rabbit hole, we encounter a tapestry of connections, a web of conspiracy that stretches across continents and centuries. The royal family, with their bloodlines tracing back to ancient dynasties, becomes a focal point in this narrative. The idea that they could be descendants of extraterrestrial beings, or perhaps ancient gods, is both ludicrous and captivating. It invites us to question the very nature of our reality, to ponder the possibility that we are not alone in this universe, that our leaders might be part of a grander scheme. Consider the symbolism that surrounds the royal family. The serpent, a recurring motif in heraldry and mythology, serves as a reminder of the duality of power. It is both a protector and a predator, a creature that can bring life or death. The royal family, with their opulent lifestyles and public personas, embodies this duality. They are the guardians of tradition, yet they wield immense power that can be both benevolent and tyrannical. The lizard people myth serves as a metaphor for this complexity, a way to articulate our ambivalence towards authority. But what of the skeptics? those who scoff at the notion of shape-shifting reptiles lurking in the halls of Buckingham Palace. They argue that such ideas are rooted in paranoia, a manifestation of our inability to accept the world as it is. Yet isn't it precisely this skepticism that fuels the fire of conspiracy? The more we dismiss these ideas, the more they take root in the minds of those who feel disenfranchised. The lizard people myth becomes a rallying cry for the disillusioned, a way to reclaim agency in a world that often feels chaotic and unjust. As we peel back the layers of this myth, we must confront the uncomfortable truth that it reflects our own insecurities. The idea that our leaders could be something other than human forces us to grapple with our own humanity. Are we not all capable of monstrous behavior? The lizard people serve as a mirror, reflecting our darkest fears and desires. They remind us that power can corrupt, that the line between good and evil is often blurred. In the end, the myth of the British royal family as lizard people is not merely a story of shapeshifters and conspiracies. It is a reflection of our collective psyche, a manifestation of our fears, hopes, and desires. It invites us to question the nature of power, to seek the truth behind the facade, and to confront the uncomfortable reality that we are all part of this intricate dance of life. So, as we embark on this journey together, let us keep our minds open and our hearts curious. For in the realm of myth and reality, the truth may be stranger than we ever imagined. In the annals of human history, few myths have captured the imagination quite like the legend of the lizard people. This enigmatic narrative, steeped in mystery and intrigue, can be traced back to the ancient civilizations that roamed the earth long before our modern understanding of history took shape. To understand the origins of the lizard people myth, we must journey back to the cradle of civilization itself, ancient Sumeria. Around 4500 BCE, the Sumerians emerged in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, where they established one of the world's first urban societies. Their achievements in writing, mathematics, and architecture laid the groundwork for future civilizations. But alongside these advancements, the Sumerians also crafted a rich tapestry of mythology, one that would echo through the ages. Central to their beliefs were the Anunnaki, a pantheon of deities who were said to have descended from the stars. The Anunnaki were not merely gods in the traditional sense. They were often depicted as beings of great power and wisdom, possessing knowledge far beyond that of mere mortals. Ancient texts describe them as having the ability to manipulate the very fabric of reality, to create and destroy at will. But what if these beings were not just figments of the Sumerians' imagination? What if they were, in fact, extraterrestrial visitors who came to Earth, leaving behind a legacy that would shape human culture for millennia? The Sumerians believed that the Anunnaki had a direct hand in the creation of humanity. According to their myths, these celestial beings descended from the heavens to mine gold and other precious resources from the earth. In their quest for labor, they genetically engineered Homo sapiens, creating a hybrid species that could serve their needs. This narrative of divine intervention and genetic manipulation has sparked a myriad of theories, suggesting that the Anunnaki were not just gods but advanced beings with reptilian characteristics. As we delve deeper into the Sumerian texts, we find descriptions of the Anunnaki that bear striking similarities to what we now refer to as lizard people. The ancient cuneiform tablets depict these beings with elongated skulls, scaly skin, and a predilection for power and control. Could it be that the lizard people myth is a distorted memory of these ancient encounters, a remnant of a time when humanity grappled with the implications of its own creation? Fast forward to the modern era, and the lizard people myth has evolved into a complex narrative interwoven with conspiracy theories and pop culture. The 20th century saw a resurgence of interest in the Anunnaki and their supposed descendants. Authors and theorists began to connect the dots between ancient Sumerian mythology and contemporary tales of reptilian overlords. The idea that a race of shape-shifting lizard beings secretly controls the world gained traction, fueled by a growing distrust of authority and a fascination with the unknown. One of the most prominent figures in this movement is David Icke, a former professional footballer turned conspiracy theorist. Icke's theories posit that many of the world's leaders are, in fact, reptilian aliens in disguise, manipulating humanity for their own nefarious purposes. This notion, while often dismissed as fringe, resonates with a segment of the population that feels alienated and powerless in the face of modern governance. The lizard people myth, in this context, becomes a metaphor for the unseen forces that shape our lives, a way to articulate fears of manipulation and control. But what drives the allure of the lizard people myth? Perhaps it is the primal fear of the unknown, the instinctual response to the idea that we are not alone in the universe. The notion that there are beings among us, hidden in plain sight, taps into our deepest anxieties about identity and power. It challenges our understanding of reality, forcing us to confront the possibility that our world is not as it seems. Moreover, the lizard people myth serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power. The Anunnaki, as depicted in Sumerian mythology, were beings who wielded their influence without regard for the consequences. This narrative resonates in a world where political corruption and corporate greed often overshadow the needs of the many. By framing our leaders as lizard people, we externalize our frustrations, casting them as the villains in a story that echoes the ancient myths of old. As we explore the connections between ancient Sumeria and the modern lizard people myth, we must also consider the role of storytelling in shaping our perceptions of reality. Myths and legends have always served as a means of understanding the world around us, providing frameworks for interpreting the complexities of existence. The lizard people narrative, with its roots in ancient mythology, reflects our ongoing struggle to make sense of a chaotic and often frightening world. In the digital age, the lizard people myth has found new life on the internet, where conspiracy theories proliferate and gain traction at an unprecedented rate. Social media platforms allow for the rapid dissemination of ideas, enabling individuals to connect with like-minded believers and share their interpretations of the myth. This phenomenon has transformed the lizard people narrative into a cultural touchstone, a symbol of resistance against the status quo. Yet, as we navigate this landscape of information and misinformation, we must also approach the lizard people myth with a critical eye. While it is tempting to embrace the fantastical elements of the story, we must remember that myths are often rooted in the human experience. They reflect our fears, hopes, and desires, serving as mirrors that reveal the complexities of our existence. Ultimately, the origins of the lizard people myth can be traced back to the ancient Sumerians and their encounters with the Anunnaki. This narrative has evolved over millennia, shaped by cultural shifts and societal changes, as we continue to grapple with the implications of our own existence. The lizard people myth serves as a reminder of the power of storytelling, a testament to humanity's enduring quest for understanding in a world filled with uncertainty. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale or a reflection of our deepest fears, the legend of the lizard people invites us to explore the boundaries of belief and the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. In the annals of history, few civilizations have captured the imagination quite like that of ancient Egypt. The grandeur of its pyramids, the mystique of its hieroglyphs, and the enigmatic allure of its deities have fascinated scholars and casual observers alike for centuries. Yet, beneath the surface of this remarkable culture lies a tapestry woven with myths and legends that challenge our understanding of humanity and the cosmos. Among these stories, one of the most intriguing is the myth of the lizard people, a narrative that intertwines with the very fabric of Egyptian kingship and the notion of chimeras, beings that are part human and part animal. To understand the connection between the ancient Egyptians and the myth of lizard people, we must first delve into the pantheon of Egyptian gods. The Egyptians were polytheistic, worshipping a multitude of deities, many of whom were depicted with animal features. Take, for instance, the god Horus, often represented as a falcon or Anubis, the jackal-headed god associated with mummification and the afterlife. These representations were not mere artistic choices. They symbolized the attributes and powers that the Egyptians believed these gods possessed. The blending of human and animal traits in their deities raises an essential question. Were the ancient Egyptians hinting at something more profound? Perhaps a connection to beings beyond our understanding. The idea of kings being half animal or half human is not merely a figment of imagination, but rather a reflection of the Egyptians' reverence for their rulers. Pharaohs were often considered divine, intermediaries between the gods and the people. They were believed to embody the essence of the gods themselves, leading to the notion that they possessed attributes beyond those of mere mortals. This divine kingship was reinforced through elaborate rituals and monumental architecture, with the pyramids serving as grand tombs designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife. But what if these kings were not just seen as divine, but as something otherworldly, chimeras or even extraterrestrial beings? The lizard people myth, often associated with conspiracy theories and fringe beliefs, suggests that a race of reptilian beings exists or has existed, capable of shape-shifting and infiltrating human society. This narrative, while modern in its popularization, echoes ancient fears and fascinations with the unknown. The Egyptians, with their intricate beliefs in the afterlife and the supernatural, may have been grappling with similar concepts. The idea that their rulers could possess animalistic traits or even be descended from otherworldly beings speaks to a deeper understanding of power and divinity. The concept of chimeras, creatures composed of different animal parts, was not foreign to the Egyptians. In their art and mythology, we see a plethora of hybrid beings, from the Sphinx, with its lion's body and human head, to the various gods who embodied multiple animal forms. These chimeric representations served as metaphors for the complexities of existence, the blending of the earthly and the divine. Could it be that the Egyptians were hinting at a reality where their kings were not just human, but also part of a larger cosmic narrative, perhaps even linked to extraterrestrial beings? The fascination with lizard people and the idea of ancient aliens has gained traction in modern culture, often dismissed by mainstream historians as mere fantasy. However, the persistence of these myths suggests a deeper yearning for understanding our origins and the nature of power. The Egyptians, with their intricate belief systems and rich mythology, may have been grappling with similar questions. Were their kings truly divine, or were they manifestations of something beyond human comprehension? The blending of animal and human traits in their art and religion may have been an attempt to articulate a reality that transcended the ordinary. As we explore the possibility of ancient Egyptian kings being chimeras or aliens, we must also consider the implications of such beliefs on their society. The reverence for pharaohs as divine beings reinforced a hierarchical structure that placed immense power in the hands of a few. This power dynamic, coupled with the belief in the supernatural, created a society deeply intertwined with its mythology. The kings were not merely rulers. They were embodiments of the divine, tasked with maintaining cosmic order and ensuring the prosperity of their people. Yet, the myth of lizard people also serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the manipulation of belief. In a world where rulers are seen as divine or otherworldly, the line between reverence and fear can blur. The Egyptians understood this dynamic, and their mythology reflects a society grappling with the complexities of power, divinity, and the unknown. In examining the intersection of ancient Egyptian beliefs and the lizard people myth, we find ourselves at a crossroads of history and speculation. The ancient Egyptians were not just building pyramids and temples, they were constructing a narrative that sought to explain their place in the universe. The blending of human and animal traits in their gods and kings speaks to a deeper understanding of existence, a recognition that humanity is but one part of a larger cosmic tapestry. As we unravel these threads, we are left with more questions than answers. Were the ancient Egyptians hinting at a reality where their kings were chimeras, beings of both this world and another? Or were they simply using myth to explain the unexplainable, to grapple with the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos? The allure of the lizard people myth may lie not in its veracity, but in its ability to provoke thought and inspire wonder about our origins and the nature of power. In the end, the story of ancient Egypt is not just a tale of kings and pyramids, it is a reflection of humanity's eternal quest for understanding. Whether through the lens of mythology, history, or the possibility of extraterrestrial connections, the Egyptians remind us that our search for meaning is as ancient as civilization itself. The lizard people myth, while perhaps a modern construct, echoes the timeless human desire to explore the boundaries of existence and the mysteries that lie beyond. As we continue to delve into the past, we must remain open to the possibilities that await us. For the truth may be stranger than fiction, and the legacy of ancient Egypt may hold secrets yet to be uncovered. In the annals of history, there exists a thread, a whisper that weaves through the tapestry of time, connecting ancient civilizations to modern secret societies. This thread, often dismissed as mere conspiracy, is the tale of the lizard people, a myth that has slithered its way through the ages, from the sun-baked sands of ancient Egypt to the shadowy corners of the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons, and the Illuminati. But what if I told you that this myth is more than just a fanciful story? What if it is a secret that has been passed down through generations, a truth obscured by layers of secrecy and power? Let us begin in ancient Egypt, where the worship of deities was intertwined with the very fabric of life. The Egyptians revered a pantheon of gods, but among them, one stood out. Set, often depicted as a creature with a long snout and a body resembling that of a lizard. Set was associated with chaos, storms, and the desert, a figure both feared and revered. His duality reflects the complexity of the lizard people myth, a symbol of both destruction and transformation. As the Egyptians built their pyramids, aligning them with the stars, they also constructed a belief system that hinted at the existence of beings beyond our comprehension. Could it be that these ancient texts, inscribed on temple walls, spoke of a race of reptilian beings that walked among them, guiding the pharaohs and influencing the course of history? As we move forward in time, we encounter the Rosicrucians, a mystical society that emerged in the early 17th century. They claimed to possess secret knowledge, a wisdom that transcended the ordinary understanding of the world. The Rosicrucians were steeped in alchemy, mysticism, and the pursuit of enlightenment. Their symbols, often cryptic, hinted at a deeper truth, one that connected them to the ancient wisdom of Egypt. It is said that they believed in the existence of hidden forces, beings that influenced humanity from the shadows. Could it be that the lizard people myth found refuge within their teachings, a secret passed down through clandestine meetings and whispered conversations? Then we arrive at the Freemasons, a society that has long been shrouded in mystery. Founded in the late 16th century, the Freemasons adopted symbols and rituals that echoed the ancient practices of the Egyptians. Their lodges, often adorned with esoteric imagery, served as sanctuaries for those seeking knowledge and power. Within their ranks, there were whispers of a hidden lineage, a connection to ancient wisdom that included the lizard people myth. The Masons, with their intricate rituals and oaths of secrecy, may have been guardians of this knowledge, preserving it for a select few. As they built their monuments and institutions, did they also build a bridge to the past, a link to the reptilian beings that some believed were manipulating the course of history? The Illuminati, a name that sends shivers down the spines of conspiracy theorists, emerged in the late 18th century. Founded by Adam Weishaupt in Bavaria, this secret society sought to promote Enlightenment ideals while opposing religious and political oppression. However, as the Illuminati grew in influence, so too did the rumors surrounding their true intentions. Some claimed they were in league with extraterrestrial beings, including the fabled lizard people. The notion that a clandestine group could wield such power, manipulating world events from behind the scenes, became a cornerstone of conspiracy theories. The Illuminati, with their penchant for secrecy and control, seemed to embody the fears and anxieties of a society grappling with rapid change. But what of the British royal family? The question lingers in the air like a specter, haunting those who dare to ponder it. The monarchy, with its centuries of tradition and power, has often been the subject of speculation. Are they merely figureheads, or do they possess knowledge that transcends the ordinary? Some conspiracy theorists posit that the royals are not just custodians of history, but are in fact part of a lineage that has long been intertwined with the lizard people myth. The bloodlines of the elite, they argue, are tainted with the essence of these ancient beings, granting them power and influence over the masses. The idea that the British royal family could be privy to such secrets raises the stakes of our inquiry. What if they are aware of the lizard people, not as mere myth, but as a reality that has shaped the course of human history? The royal family's connections to various secret societies, their patronage of the arts, and their role in global politics all suggest a deeper involvement in the machinations of power. Could it be that they are not just passive participants but active players in a game that spans millennia, a game that involves ancient knowledge and the manipulation of humanity? As we delve deeper into this labyrinth of secrets, we must consider the implications of such knowledge. If the lizard people myth is indeed rooted in truth, what does that mean for our understanding of history? It suggests a world where the lines between reality and myth blur, where ancient beings have influenced the rise and fall of civilizations. It challenges our perception of power, revealing that those who govern may not be who they seem. The lizard people, whether as metaphors or as actual entities, represent the hidden forces that shape our existence, forces that have been concealed from the masses for centuries. In the modern era, the myth of the lizard people has evolved, morphing into a symbol of distrust and paranoia. It has become a catch-all for fears about government control, corporate greed, and the erosion of personal freedoms. The idea that our leaders could be reptilian shapeshifters, manipulating us from the shadows, taps into a primal fear of the unknown. It reflects our anxieties about a world that often feels chaotic and out of control. The lizard people myth serves as a lens through which we can examine our relationship with power, authority, and the unseen forces that govern our lives. Yet, as we navigate this murky terrain, we must also confront the dangers of such beliefs. The allure of conspiracy can lead to a dangerous path, one where critical thinking is overshadowed by fear and suspicion. It is essential to approach these ideas with a discerning mind, to separate fact from fiction, and to recognize the power of narrative in shaping our understanding of the world. The lizard people myth, while captivating, should not blind us to the complexities of history and the nuances of human behavior. In conclusion, the evolution of the lizard people myth is a testament to humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. From the ancient Egyptians to the modern-day conspiracy theorists, this narrative has persisted, evolving and adapting to the fears and hopes of each generation. Whether it is a reflection of our anxieties about power, control, or the nature of reality itself, the myth serves as a reminder that there are always secrets lurking in the shadows. As we continue to explore the depths of history, we must remain vigilant, questioning the narratives that shape our understanding and seeking the truth that lies beneath the surface. The lizard people may be a myth, but the secrets they represent are very real, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to seek them. In the shadows of history, where the lines between reality and myth blur, lies a tale that has captivated the minds of conspiracy theorists and skeptics alike. The legend of the lizard people. This narrative, steeped in secrecy and intrigue, intertwines with the enigmatic gatherings of the Bohemian Grove, a place where the world's elite convene under the cover of darkness, far removed from the prying eyes of the public. As we delve into this peculiar intersection of folklore and power, we must ask ourselves, do the powerful truly engage in unspeakable acts? And what role does the British royal family play in this clandestine world? The origins of the lizard people myth can be traced back to the late 20th century, when a British conspiracy theorist named David Icke began to popularize the idea that a race of reptilian aliens, shape-shifting beings from another dimension, had infiltrated the highest echelons of human society. According to Icke, these lizard people, often disguised as prominent political figures, were not merely figments of imagination, but rather a sinister force manipulating humanity for their own nefarious purposes. This narrative, while fantastical, resonated with those who felt disenfranchised by the political system, offering a scapegoat for the world's ills. The idea that our leaders could be something other than human, that they could be cold-blooded, literally and metaphorically, struck a chord in a society grappling with distrust and disillusionment. As the myth of the lizard people gained traction, it began to intertwine with the secretive gatherings of the Bohemian Grove, an exclusive retreat located in the redwood forests of Northern California. Founded in 1872, the Grove has long been a sanctuary for the rich and powerful, a place where the elite can escape the scrutiny of the outside world. Here, amidst the towering trees and the flickering flames of ceremonial bonfires, the powerful gather to engage in rituals that some claim are steeped in ancient pagan traditions. The Grove's members, often referred to as the Bohemians, include politicians, business magnates, and cultural icons, all of whom share a common bond, a desire for privacy and a taste for the extraordinary. The rituals performed at Bohemian Grove have been the subject of much speculation. Some believe that these gatherings are mere social events, a chance for the elite to unwind and network. However, others suggest a darker undercurrent, alleging that the Grove is a site for occult practices, including the sacrifice of children. This notion, while sensational, has been fueled by the secrecy surrounding the Grove and the powerful individuals who frequent it. The idea that the world's most influential figures could engage in such heinous acts is both horrifying and captivating, feeding into the narrative of the lizard people and the broader conspiracy theories surrounding the so-called Illuminati. The Illuminati, a term that evokes images of shadowy cabals and hidden agendas, is often linked to the Bohemian Grove. This secret society, originally founded in the 18th century as a group of intellectuals seeking to promote Enlightenment ideals, has since morphed into a symbol of elite control over global affairs. Conspiracy theorists argue that the Illuminati, comprised of the world's most powerful individuals, operates behind the scenes, orchestrating events to maintain their grip on power. The Bohemian Grove, with its air of exclusivity and secrecy, is seen as a breeding ground for these clandestine activities, a place where decisions affecting the fate of nations are made away from the public eye. But what of the British royal family? The question of their involvement in the Bohemian Grove and the broader conspiracy surrounding the lizard people is a tantalizing one. The British monarchy, with its long history of power and influence, has often been the subject of speculation. Some conspiracy theorists assert that members of the royal family have attended the Grove, mingling with the likes of former presidents and corporate titans. The idea that the monarchy could be entangled in such a web of secrecy and potential malevolence is both shocking and alluring. After all, the royal family has long been associated with mystique and tradition, and the notion that they could be part of a hidden agenda only adds to their enigmatic allure. However, the evidence supporting these claims is often tenuous at best. While there are anecdotes and rumors suggesting that members of the British royal family have been spotted at the Grove, concrete proof remains elusive. This lack of verifiable information only serves to fuel the fires of speculation, allowing the mythos surrounding the lizard people and the Bohemian Grove to flourish. In a world where information is often manipulated and obscured, the absence of clarity can lead to the proliferation of conspiracy theories, creating a narrative that is as compelling as it is unsettling. As we navigate this labyrinth of myth and reality, it is essential to consider the psychological underpinnings of these beliefs. The lizard people myth, the secrecy of the Bohemian Grove, and the alleged involvement of the British royal family all tap into a deep-seated fear of the unknown. In an age where information is readily available, the idea that a hidden elite could be pulling the strings behind the scenes is both terrifying and fascinating. It speaks to a collective anxiety about power, control, and the fragility of democracy. The allure of conspiracy theories lies in their ability to provide simple explanations for complex problems, offering a narrative that resonates with those who feel powerless in the face of overwhelming societal forces. Moreover, the intersection of these myths with real-world events cannot be ignored. The rise of populism, the erosion of trust in institutions, and the increasing polarization of society have created fertile ground for conspiracy theories to take root. In this context, the lizard people and the Bohemian Grove serve as symbols of a broader struggle between the elite and the masses, a reflection of the deep-seated frustrations that many feel in an increasingly complex world. The idea that the powerful are engaged in unspeakable acts, whether it be child sacrifice or the manipulation of global events, resonates with those who feel marginalized and disenfranchised. Yet, as we explore these narratives, we must also exercise caution. The danger of conspiracy theories lies not only in their potential to mislead, but also in their ability to dehumanize those who are perceived as part of the elite. The lizard people myth, while entertaining, reduces complex individuals to caricatures, stripping them of their humanity and agency. It fosters an us versus them mentality, creating divisions that can have real-world consequences. In a society already fraught with tension, the proliferation of such narratives can exacerbate existing divides, leading to further polarization and mistrust. In conclusion, the myth of the lizard people and its connection to the Bohemian Grove serves as a fascinating lens through which to examine the anxieties and fears of contemporary society. While the idea of a hidden elite engaging in dark rituals is undoubtedly captivating, it is essential to approach these narratives with a critical eye. The intersection of folklore, conspiracy, and power reveals much about our collective psyche, highlighting the deep-seated fears that underpin our understanding of authority and control. As we navigate this complex landscape, we must remain vigilant, questioning the narratives we encounter while seeking to understand the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. In a world where the line between myth and reality is increasingly blurred, the stories we tell ourselves may hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of our own existence. You ever sit back and think about the world we live in? I mean, really think about it. The news, the politics, the endless cycles of chaos and confusion. It's like we're all trapped in this grand illusion, a stage where the players wear masks, and the audience is too busy scrolling through their phones to notice the strings being pulled behind the curtain. But what if I told you that the puppeteers aren't even human? What if they're shape-shifting lizard aliens, slithering through the corridors of power, controlling our every move? Sounds crazy, right? But let's take a moment to peel back the layers of this bizarre onion. Think about it. The stories are everywhere, buried beneath the surface of our everyday lives. The whispers of the reptilian elite, the tales of the Greys with their big black eyes and skinny limbs, hovering just beyond our perception. They say these beings have been visiting us for decades, maybe even centuries, observing, manipulating, and yes, perhaps even controlling. You've heard the conspiracy theories, the wild claims that our leaders are not what they seem. The idea that the British royal family, with their air of untouchable majesty, might be part of this extraterrestrial cabal. It's a thought that sends shivers down the spine, isn't it? The British royal family, those icons of tradition and stability. What do they really know? They've been at the heart of power for so long, and yet there's an air of mystery that surrounds them. They live in castles, surrounded by opulence, while the rest of us toil away in our mundane lives. But what if their lineage is not just a matter of bloodlines, but something far more sinister? What if they're not just descendants of kings and queens, but descendants of beings from another world? The thought is tantalizing, isn't it? Imagine for a moment that the royal family is part of a long line of shapeshifters, beings who can slip between dimensions, who can alter their appearance at will. What if they've been here all along, watching us, guiding us, steering the course of history to suit their own needs? The idea that they could be lizards in disguise, hiding in plain sight, is both absurd and frightening. But isn't that the nature of truth? It often wears a mask of absurdity, a cloak of disbelief. And then there are the Greys, those enigmatic figures that have become synonymous with alien encounters. They're not just figments of our imagination, they're part of our collective consciousness. People claim to have seen them, to have been abducted by them, to have had their memories wiped clean. What do they want? Are they here to help us, or are they here to harvest us? The theories abound, and the more you dig, the more questions arise. What if the Greys are working hand in hand with the lizard people? What if they're the foot soldiers in a grand invasion, a takeover that's been in the works for decades? We're living in a time when the lines between reality and fiction are blurred. The government releases reports on unidentified aerial phenomena, and we're supposed to believe it's all just a coincidence, a trick of the light. But what if it's not? What if they're testing the waters, preparing us for the truth that's too big to comprehend? And then there's the media, that ever-present force that shapes our perceptions. They tell us what to think, what to fear, what to believe. But who controls the media? Who decides what stories get told and which ones get buried? It's a tangled web, and at the center of it all, you have to wonder if the lizard people have their claws deep in the industry. They thrive on chaos, on division, on keeping us distracted while they pull the strings. Look at the world around you. Wars, pandemics, climate change, everything feels like a carefully orchestrated performance. The more we fight amongst ourselves, the less we notice the real enemy lurking in the shadows. The lizard people could be watching us, laughing at our ignorance, while we're too busy arguing about politics or the latest celebrity scandal. It's a distraction, a way to keep us from seeing the bigger picture. And let's not forget about the technology that's infiltrating our lives. Smartphones, social media, artificial intelligence, these are tools that can be used for good or ill. But what if they're being used to monitor us, to control us? What if the Greys are behind the curtain, feeding us information, manipulating our thoughts? The more we rely on technology, the more we give up our autonomy. It's a slippery slope, and we're all sliding down it, blissfully unaware. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds like a bad sci-fi movie, right? But isn't that the point? The truth is often stranger than fiction, and we've been conditioned to dismiss the bizarre as mere fantasy. But what if the bizarre is the reality we're living in? What if the lizard people and the greys are just the tip of the iceberg? Consider the ancient texts, the myths and legends that speak of beings from the stars. The Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Mayans, they all had stories of gods descending from the heavens, of beings with knowledge beyond our comprehension. What if those beings were not gods at all, but extraterrestrial visitors? What if they left behind their bloodlines, their legacies, and we're living in the aftermath of their influence? The more you think about it, the more the pieces start to fit together. The royal family, the Greys, the lizard people, it's all part of a larger puzzle, a cosmic game that we're unwittingly playing. And as we go about our lives, oblivious to the forces at play, we're being led down a path that may not end well for humanity. So the next time you hear a story about aliens or conspiracy theories, take a moment to pause. What if there's more to it than meets the eye? What if the truth is lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it? The world is a strange place, and sometimes the strangest ideas hold the most profound truths. Are we being controlled by shape-shifting lizard aliens? Are we being visited by greys? And what does the British royal family know? The answers may be out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to wake up and see the reality of our existence. In the dim light of the room, shadows flicker across the walls, and the air feels thick with an unspoken truth. Imagine, if you will, a world where the British royal family is not merely a lineage of human beings, but rather a sophisticated race of shape-shifting lizards, an alien species that has woven itself into the very fabric of our society. This is not a tale spun from the threads of fantasy, but a narrative that has been whispered in the corners of our consciousness, lurking just beneath the surface of our reality. For centuries, they have donned the guise of humanity, cloaked in the finery of crowns and royal regalia. But beneath the surface lies a cold, calculating intelligence. They are not just rulers. They are puppeteers, orchestrating the grand play of human existence while we, the unwitting actors, dance to their tune. The sacrifices they have made to maintain their dominion over us are profound, steeped in a history that predates our understanding of civilization itself. They have sacrificed their own kin, their own kind, to ensure that their secrets remain hidden, to keep the veil of normalcy intact. What price have they paid? They have traded the warmth of familial bonds for the chill of power, the love of their own for the loyalty of the masses. They have engaged in rituals that would make the bravest among us shudder, sacrificing the very essence of their being to maintain their grip on the throne. Bloodlines have been tainted, alliances forged in darkness, and the echoes of their sacrifices resonate through the ages. They have feasted on the fears of the populace, drawing strength from our ignorance, our complacency. But who are they controlling? The answer is as complex as the web they weave. They manipulate the media, shaping narratives that keep us distracted, entertained, and ultimately docile. Politicians, celebrities, and influencers are mere pawns in their game, carefully placed to divert our attention from the truth. They control the very fabric of our reality, dictating the terms of our existence, while we remain blissfully unaware of the strings that bind us. They thrive on division, pitting us against one another, ensuring that we remain fragmented and powerless. Why do they do this? The answer lies in their insatiable hunger for power and control. They are not content with mere dominion. They seek to dominate the very essence of humanity. They feed on our emotions, our aspirations, our dreams, and in return, they offer us the illusion of choice, the facade of freedom. We are but a resource to them, a means to an end, and as long as we remain oblivious to their true nature, they will continue to thrive in the shadows. As we stand on the precipice of a new era, we must confront the reality of our situation, The fate that awaits us is not one of liberation, but of subjugation. The lizard kings and queens, with their cold reptilian eyes, will tighten their grip, and we will find ourselves ensnared in a web of their making. The sacrifices they have made will pale in comparison to the sacrifices we will be forced to endure. Our freedoms will be stripped away, our voices silenced, and we will become mere echoes of our former selves, lost in a world that no longer recognizes our humanity. But there is a flicker of hope, a glimmer of resistance that lies within us. We are not powerless. We are not mere pawns in their game. The truth, once revealed, has the power to shatter the illusions they have created. We must awaken from our slumber, peel back the layers of deception, and confront the reality of our existence. The lizard overlords may have the advantage of time and cunning, but they underestimate the resilience of the human spirit. We must unite, cast aside our differences, and recognize that we are all part of the same tapestry. The sacrifices we make in the name of truth and freedom will be the catalyst for our liberation. We must be willing to confront the darkness, to challenge the status quo, and to reclaim our agency. The fate that awaits us is not predetermined. It is a narrative we can rewrite. As we stand at this crossroads, we must ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to create? A world where we are subservient to the whims of an alien race, or a world where we embrace our humanity, our diversity, and our shared destiny? The choice is ours, and it is a choice that will echo through the annals of history. In the end, the lizard kings may be powerful, but they are not invincible. Their reign is built on a foundation of fear and deception, and when the truth emerges, it will crumble like the fragile facade it is. We must be the architects of our own fate, the authors of our own story. The sacrifices we make today will pave the way for a brighter tomorrow, one where we reclaim our humanity and cast off the shackles of control. So let us rise, let us awaken, and let us confront the reality of our existence. The lizard overlords may have ruled for centuries, but their time is coming to an end. The truth will prevail, and we will emerge from the shadows, united in our quest for freedom. The fate of humanity rests in our hands, and together we will forge a new path, one that honors our sacrifices and celebrates our resilience. The world is waiting for us to awaken, and when we do, we will be unstoppable.